This is an incredible landscape. This is Breckland in East Anglia. The term means broken landscape. And while I'm here looking for wildlife, I'm hoping to find out just what broke it. In this series, I'm visiting some of Britain's most outstanding areas of natural beauty to really find out what's going on beneath the surface.
Beautiful markings.
This time, I'm exploring the Breckland in East Anglia, where I'm hoping to see the wonderful stone curlew and Britain's rarest amphibian, the pool frog. Breckland is one of our least familiar but richest habitats. It's home to an exciting variety of wildlife that has perfectly adapted to this extraordinary landscape. The varied terrain includes arable farmland, forest, and isolated pools. But the area is defined by the vast open sandy heath that gives Breckland its unique look. Covering nearly 370 square miles, this open heathland follows a chalk spine that runs from northwest Norfolk right down to the Chilterns. This whole area was once covered in forest. It was cleared by prehistoric settlers to make way for farmland, and centuries of overgrazing has left the sandy soil exhausted. When you look out across this landscape, you get a sense of how it came to be Breckland, broken land. This open heathland has remained open thanks to one small but incredibly successful animal. The rabbit's constant grazing keeps the grass short and has prevented the area being reclaimed by trees and shrubs. Let's stop here for a minute and see if any of them decide to pop their heads up. I can just see a pair of ears poking up over there. You see him just sitting there, tucked down, watching, wary, alert. Everything wants to eat rabbits, and yet they still manage to survive. They're incredible creatures. When you look across here at all this sandy soil there, that's the rabbit's warren. I can see the odd lookout, the sentry, on duty there, on its squat, watching out, and if there's a threat, they thump with their foot. That's their alarm. Rabbits are a familiar sight in the British landscape, but in fact, they're a non-native species introduced by the Normans over 900 years ago. Breckland's sandy soil is perfect for digging their burrows, so it's no wonder the population here is thriving. The flash of a white bunny tail is a warning to the rest of the colony that there might be a fox or stoat close by. This dry, flinty ground also provides perfect camouflage for one of Britain's rarest birds. One of the great things for watching wildlife is to use your vehicle as a mobile hide. And one thing you can do is put a mount on the window. That simulates the kind of rig that professional wildlife cameramen use to get shots of big game on the Serengeti. And then I can fit my scope on there, and that's very stable. It gives a very stable platform. Now I've set this rig up because I'm trying to get to see a bird that really likes these flinty Breckland fields, but it doesn't like disturbance. It's very, very flighty. It's called a stone curlew, and I know that there's one nesting in the next field.
There it is. I can see it. It's not run off. Fantastic.
these rare birds are mainly nocturnal, so they rely on camouflage for protection from predators during the day. Their speckled eggs are also perfectly disguised among the flint, where they're simply laid in a shallow scrape in the soil. The male and the female share their workload, taking it in turns to sit on their eggs for 27 days until they hatch. Breckland is one of the few places in Britain where it's possible to see these birds, which need warm, dry soil and low vegetation so they can keep an eye out for danger. Their large yellow eyes are extremely sensitive and are adapted for seeking out insects at night. By October, these birds will leave the Breckland to winter in southern Europe and Africa before they return next spring. In the next field, some eggs have already hatched, and Paul Batchelor from the RSPB is trying to catch up with the fledglings as part of his work to protect these birds. These newly hatched chicks can't fly until they're 40 days old, so the easiest way to catch one is to run after it. Wow, I watched that from afar, Paul. That was fantastic. Well done.
Yeah.
Bit of exercise, eh?
Oh, yeah. No, when I ringed earlier today, I had to run a lot further than that, actually, and got nutmegged a few times by it going through my legs. And
So what's the purpose of the tagging, Paul?
That's basically twofold. Reading the colouring combinations on their legs, we know which juveniles have fledged. That gives us a very clear idea of the productivity for the year. The other purpose of it is when these birds are older and they nest, we know exactly which birds are in which pair, and that gives us a very clear idea of exactly how many pairs we've got in the area.
And you only disturb the bird the once? You just catch it now?
Yep, we ring it the one time and
then you can tell.
Won't need to catch it again, yeah. That's
which is
right.
Brilliant.
Yeah, yeah.
And here's the chick.
Have a little look at him.
Oh, look at that.
There we
Beautiful. They've got the most compelling eye, haven't they?
They have. They're very characterful eyes. You can see if I put him down on the bare ground how his camouflage.
He's relying on the camouflage.
Yeah. Typically, when they do hide, they'll get down a little gully like this or something like that. And yeah, you could easily step on it, basically.
And what about their eye? How good is their vision?
Oh, they've got excellent vision. They actually do a lot of foraging at night.
The bird I was watching earlier looked at me with the most suspicious gaze.
Their eyes are very characterful. Just by looking at them, you can get an idea of whether they're likely to have a nest or not, just from their expression. If they're breeding, they have a very nervous look. Their eyes are wide and they look, quite anxious. If they're not breeding, they look a lot more relaxed. Yeah.
The number of stone curlews declined dramatically in the 1950s when a myxomatosis epidemic killed large numbers of the Breckland rabbits. Without the rabbits, the flinty Breckland heath started to disappear, leaving the curlews without a nesting site. Now the RSPB is working with local farmers to help protect eggs and chicks by providing safe nesting sites in fallow fields, giving these wonderful birds a fighting chance. With their help, the population in this area has more than tripled, from fewer than 70 pairs in 1985 to about 230 pairs now. Like a lot of wildlife, the Breckland animals are wariest during the day. I stand a better chance of seeing them at dusk or dawn, so I'll need to make plans to stay right in the heart of this habitat. Well, this is going to be my home for the next couple of days. The best way to see an environment is to stay there and camp safari style, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. Obviously, I've had to arrange special permission to do this. You can't just go and set up a camp anywhere, but it doesn't matter whether you set up a camp like this or you just take an ordinary tent to a campsite. The key thing is to be there in the environment at the right time of day. There we go. So just a very simple camp, a roof over my head. That's all I really need. Fireplace, and I'm set up. I've got very good visibility here, I can just sit quietly here later with a pair of binoculars and watch. Just time to put the fire on and have a brew, I think. Just as I expected, as the sun starts to set, these woods come alive. A family of foxes emerge from an earth in the heart of the Breckland forest. Born in March, these cubs first venture above ground in April, and now they explore and play close to the safety of the earth. They rely on both parents to bring them food. The plentiful Breckland rabbits make up a large part of their diet. By the time they are 5 months old, they'll be independent and able to hunt for themselves. As night falls, the Brecks fill with their own nocturnal soundtrack, providing me with a magical lullaby. That's the sound of a nightjar. Fantastic sound. That's a male. He's got the white bars on his wings. He's trying to attract a female. Lovely to watch. The Breckland landscape is full of surprises if you are patient and lucky. In part 2, I'm hoping to find some of the strange water features left behind after the Ice Age and the rare frog that lives there. And I also want to see the red deer, an animal that has been vital to the people of Breckland for thousands of years. I'm in the Breckland, a vast area of heathland in East Anglia. With its dry, sandy soil, this area looks more like the Russian steppe than England. But many of the animals that live here are perfectly adapted to this extraordinary landscape. The best way to get to know any habitat is to totally immerse yourself, and to do that, there's no better way than camping. Well, it was a lovely night. Sleeping outdoors in a bedroll like that is just perfect. You wake to the dawn chorus, which is a little early, but it's still really nice to hear what's going on. Through the night, if there's something moving close by, you hear it, and you just feel tuned in to what's happening here. In a nearby field, some brown hares have gathered to graze on the weedy stubble in the early morning sun. Their long ears and legs help distinguish them from their cousin, the rabbit. These normally solitary creatures are taking advantage of the abundant food supply. This low, open landscape bakes in the summer heat, helping to create this truly unique habitat. In fact, Breckland has the hottest summers and the coldest winters in the country. One of the joys of Breckland is, like any arid environment, it is romantically supplied with cool, calm oases like this one. This is a very special type of pond. It's called a pingo, and its history is fascinating. These were formed during the Ice Age. You have to imagine the land then covered in glaciers, and underneath the glaciers there were aquifers pushing water upwards to create a mound of ice. When the glaciers retreated, these mounds of ice slowly melted, leaving this depression here. They're a bit mysterious because no one could figure out why they haven't silted up and vanished. But they haven't, and that's a good thing, because today this pingo holds a real secret. What I'm looking for are pool frogs. That's Britain's rarest frog species. It was a species that was once common throughout the UK until it died out. Today, this pingo is at the centre of efforts to reintroduce this species. As yet, we don't know whether those efforts will prove to be successful, but everyone's got their fingers crossed. Now there's one, just moving across the top of the leaves there. And there's a light green stripe down the middle of their back, and they have dark spots on their legs, and their eye is quite light coloured. What a wonderful thing to see. The pool frogs are most active during the summer months, when they spend nearly all of their time in or very close to the water. The small sunny pingo is the ideal place for them to spawn, and also provides them with a plentiful supply of food. It's surprising how fragile nature can be. In 1995, pool frogs were declared extinct in Britain. It's not fully understood why, but it's likely that the loss of suitable pools due to draining of wetlands, unchecked shrub growth, and air pollution interfered with their ability to breed successfully. But 5 years ago, pool frogs and tadpoles collected from Sweden were officially reintroduced here in Breckland, and thanks to the careful work being done here, this species stands a chance of flourishing again. Neil Armachalou from the Forestry Commission has been looking after these frogs since the reintroduction programme began. Now, this is a beautiful spot today, but it's also a very significant place for you.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it is lovely, as you say, and it's great to put back into it something that's been missing. And it's early days at the moment, but after 5 years, we think that we've got a population that's sustaining itself here.
Not only have you reintroduced a frog to these pools, you've reintroduced a sound to our landscape.
Yes, yes. I mean, they have a very distinctive call, and they croak quite loudly. The males gather in the centre of the breeding pools, and they'll croak against each other. They'll face each other off and see who has got the strongest, loudest croak, and that's what attracts the females in.
Can you make the noise?
Yeah, it's Go on, you have a go and see if you can get them to call back.
Okay, I'll give it a go. Do it again.
You've got to get the side of your cheek to go.
You do it better than I do. Go on. I'm listening to see if you've got any interest. Not today.
No.
Among the rows of Scots pines that line the Breckland horizon, a herd of red deer have been tempted out to the edge of the woodland to feed on leaves and shrubs. Red deer are the largest land mammals in Britain, and these ones are particularly special. They are truly native red deer that have been a part of this landscape for thousands of years. Here at Grimes Graves, it's still possible to find evidence of how important they were to Stone Age man. All right there, John. There are over 400 flint mines here, dug out nearly 5,000 years ago. Flint expert John Lord is here to show me round one that was uncovered in 1914. Wow, John, it's special, isn't it? The temperature's really dropped as we come down in here. So when they excavated this, they just removed the infill, and what we see is a mine, maybe on the last day of its working. Flint is a hard mineral formed around the fossils of sea creatures in chalk beds that were laid down about 70 million years ago. It was a vital material for our Stone Age ancestors, who skillfully shaped it into tools like spearheads, arrows and knives. The prehistoric miners dug deep into the chalk to make a complex underground system of tunnels to gain access to the high-quality black floorstone flint. And this is what they're after, this giant lump here of floorstone, really heavy piece of
Beautiful,
isn't it amazing?
Yeah.
And that's come out from here.
just around. I don't think it's moved far. But I really don't know why it wasn't removed.
It's a mystery. Faced with the challenge of removing these large lumps of flint, Neolithic men had to rely on the Breckland's available natural resources. John, I can see over there, look, there's a red deer antler. We're not allowed to touch that, are we? That's where it was found.
No, that's more or less where it was uncovered. You'll notice it's broken.
And it's come off of a live animal, it hasn't been shed.
That's right. Antlers were very plentiful in those times. And the antler pick would be doing this.
Going around.
Revealing the tops of the layers.
Yeah. I mean, it is eerie being in here. All of these depressions in the floor, obviously where they've removed big lumps of flint. It's like we've stepped back into the Stone Age. I've had a fantastic time here in the Brecks. It's an area that keeps drawing me back. Incredible wildlife, but I think that site has to beat all for me, personally. It makes me think about the people who dug out Grimes' graves. There were those red deer antlers. When those mines were in operation, these animals were a fundamental part of human life. To see them still here, thriving in this landscape, is just the most special thing.
We're about to meet many different people and animals in a new series. For the first time in 10 years, the Zoological Society of London has invited cameras into their two zoos, London Zoo and their country home at Whipsnade. Doors open tomorrow night at 8. You'll need some tissues next. A very sad episode of Corrie is coming up.